Hello guys, welcome to Ramta Solutions and welcome to your grade 12 maths. Today we are looking at functions. To be precise, we are looking at functions past papers. The functions that we're going to deal with today are coming from your question paper that was written by the KZN in September of 2023. So without any waste of time, let's open the paper. Right. So here is it. I'm going to pin it. Okay, I'm going to pin it. Yes, let me, it's pinned. All right. Let's begin. Now, guys, if you are using a mobile device, I'm going to urge that you rotate your screen, okay? If you are using a mobile device, I'm going to urge that you rotate your screen. Okay, it's very important that you rotate your screen. This will give you maximum viewing. All right, perfect. So we then say for question 5, we are given a hyperbola. Be careful, guys. This hyperbola is not really in the standard that you know. So before we answer these questions, let me give you a quick summary of these guys. Remember, they come in the form y equals a over x plus p plus q. Now let's talk about this a. If a is positive, your hyperbola, these graphs lie between the first and the third quadrant. And if it's negative, they lie between the second and the fourth quadrant. Now let's talk about the P. This P represents what we call horizontal shift. Okay, by horizontal shift we mean it's concerned with movement left or right of the graph. If this P is positive, it will shift to the left. And if it is negative, it will shift to the right. Again, and this also gives us what we call vertical asymptote. Okay, this gives us what we call vertical asymptote. With the vertical asymptote, it says basically that this is a vertical line that your graph will never touch. Okay, so this we get by saying denominator should be 0. So if denominator is 0, I'm basically trying to say x plus p is 0. This will mean x is equal to negative p. Be careful, it should be like this. Okay. Now, let's then talk about this q. This q represents what we call vertical shift. Okay, it represents what we call vertical shift, which is concerned with the movement up or down of a function. If q is positive, it will shift up. And if q is negative, it will shift down. Then it also represents what we call horizontal asymptote. Okay, it also represents what we call horizontal asymptote. So this is the horizontal line that the graph will never touch. So to find that line, you can say it is y equals q. Okay, it is y equals q. Okay. Now, these graphs also have axis of symmetry. Okay, or this graph also has axis of symmetry. Okay, axis of symmetry, remember guys, it divides the graph into 2 equal halves. Let me show you. You can imagine it like this, and there can also be another one like this, in the same way here. All right? So there's one with a positive slope and there's one with a negative slope. Now to find that, you will say it is y equals plus minus this part here plus this part here. Okay, so let's go. It is plus minus this part here, which is x plus p close plus q. Okay, you take them as they are and you're good to go. Okay, perfect. Now we can answer our questions. Remember, this is an exam. 1 mark, 1 minute. So this question is 10 marks. We must spend about 10 minutes on it. But because I am explaining things to you, we might take even more than 10 minutes. Okay, perfect. All right. Now 5.1, they say we must find the equations of the asymptotes. So what we know, this graph is not the way that we know it to be. So let's try to simplify it. G of x, or this equation rather, G of x is equal to a negative 3 over 3 minus x minus 1. So what that means is that we must try to simplify, or rather factorize, the denominator. It will be minus 3. The common factor is a negative. We will be left with x minus 3 and then minus 1. So negative divided by negative is positive. So this is 3 over x minus 3 minus 1. As you can see, this value here is negative. P is negative 3. This means your graph has shifted to the right. And this guy here, the Q value is negative. It means it's shifting down, right? Now let's answer the questions. So asymptotes, we can simply say x equals negative p. Remember that? So we'll say x is equal to negative times negative 3. It will be x equals 3. Now another asymptote, which is the horizontal, y equals q. All right? What do we say? We say y equals, what is the q value? Negative 1. Okay? Good. Now, let's then head to 5.2. Calculate the x and y intercepts of G. By the way, guys, if you're using a mobile device, please rotate your screen so you have maximum viewing. Okay? Please rotate your screen so you have maximum viewing. All right? Perfect. So 5.2, we have, let's see 5.2, x and y intercepts. Let's begin with x intercept. So for x intercept, remember what it means is that g of x or y must be 0. So I will say g of x equals 0. So what is that? Let me go to the next page. It will be negative 3 over 3 minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay? So this is negative 3 minus, open bracket, 3 minus x close is equal to 0. This becomes negative 3 minus 3 plus x is equal to 0. Okay? This then tells us that x is equal to 6. Indeed, x is equal to 6. All right? Fine. Now let's get to our y-intercept. Now for our y-intercept, we know that for a y-intercept, this means where there's x, you put 0. So we are looking for g of 0. This becomes negative 3 over 3 minus 0 minus 1. To me, this looks like we will have negative 2. So g of 0 is negative 2. Guys, if you like, this means you have the point 6 and 0, and you also have the point 0 and negative 2. All right? So we have 5 marks right now. Moving on. 5.3. 5.3 says, draw the graph of G showing all asymptotes and intercepts with the axis. So I will have to introduce a grid. Okay, I will have to introduce a grid. I want a light background. So let me do this. So I'm going to say minus, I'm going to say minus 4. Yeah, minus 4 is not even necessary, but it's fine. Minus 4, minus 2, and you must be 0. So this is 2. No, not you. I jumped a space. So you are 2, you are 4, you are 6, you are 8, and 5. All right. So this is x. And let me say you are 2, you are minus 2 as well. All right. And of course you are 0. Okay. And you are, let me say minus 4, and you are y. Okay. We said our axis of symmetry, not axis of symmetry, pardon me. We said our horizontal asymptote was y equals q, which is y equals negative 1. So here is it, negative 1, here is it, right? And then we are then looking for vertical asymptote. We said it was x equals 3. Let me go back to confirm. Yes, x equals 3. All right, x equals 3. It's midway here. So here is it, x equals 3. And our y-intercept was y equals -2. Our x-intercept was x equals +6. Remember, guys, when we reduced this equation, we got that a is +3. This means the graph lies between the first and the third quadrant. So this is like this. As you can see, remember what I had said. Maybe let me change the colors here. I'm going to add blue. I think it'll be better when I add blue. Remember, it will never touch this line and this line. Same applies to this guy here. Okay, so this is your, I forgot to remove the ground. Okay, perfect. So this is how your graph looks like. Okay, this is how your graph looks like. This is you getting all your marks. Okay, so right now you have 8 marks. Now, they say determine the equation of the axis of symmetry of G with a negative gradient. I will show you this in 2 ways. So let's proceed. Option 1, I will say y is equal to 3. Remember, negative slope, okay? Negative slope. So plus minus. So it means we will choose the -1. -3 minus x. Okay? -3 minus x. Oh, yeah, my mistake here. Remember, guys, we somehow simplified this g of x. We said it should be 3 over x minus 3 minus 1. Do you remember? Oh, almost forgot. So we have to use this one here, right? Because this is the standard form that we know. It must be in the standard form, not like this. You see, when it's like this, you never have your x being negative for a hyperbola. Okay? So your x should always be positive. Its coefficient should be positive, so to say. Okay? The coefficient of x should always be positive. All right? So now we will say this is, let's go, option 1. This is y equals negative, what is that? X minus 3, okay? And minus 1. If you remember, let me go back to the introductory. I said it'll be this plus minus this part plus this part. Okay? Perfect. Now this becomes y equals negative x plus 3 minus 1. Therefore, this means we have y equals negative x plus 2. Okay, your asymptote is negative x plus 2. Okay, option 2 would be, I want you to note this will be y equals negative x plus c. It will always have a gradient. The asymptotes always have a gradient of plus or minus 1. Okay, they always have a gradient of plus or minus 1. So they said for a negative gradient, so it will be negative 1. Okay, now going to our graph, we say, oh, this is the curve we are looking for, or the asymptote we are looking for. As you can see, it passes through this point here. What is this point here? This point here has coordinates. X value is 3. What is y value? Y value is negative 1. Okay? X value here is 3. Y value is negative 1. So I will say, I will substitute at a point 3 and negative 1. Okay? So minus 1 equals negative 3 plus c. Therefore, this means c is positive 2. We can conclude and say the equation is negative x plus 2. Okay. The equation is negative x plus 2. That is the equation of the axis of symmetry. Remember, it is this equation here, one that's moving like this. Okay. Perfect. And moving on, we are then headed to question 6. We're done with this one. Let's go to question 6. Let's go to question 6. Come on, buddy. Let's go to question 6. Question 6, I like this question 6. It's one of the reasons I chose that we should work with this question. Okay? So let's go. Question 6. This question says the graphs of a parabola f, okay, cool, of a parabola f and a straight line G intersects at P. Where is it? Okay, intersect at P and S as shown in the diagram. Okay, cool. Points R with coordinates -1 and 0. Where is it? R, here is it. Point R with coordinate -½ and 0, or -½ and 0. Okay? And T with coordinates 1 and -12 are on the parabola. Okay, cool. And Q with coordinates 0 and 2 is a point on G. Oh, this is your y-intercept of your straight line. Be careful. This is your y-intercept of a straight line. You already have a Q. Then V is a turning point of the parabola. Here is V. Remember, guys, if you're using a mobile device, please rotate your screen. So this is V. What is V? V is a turning point. They say it's the turning point of the parabola. Cool. The straight line makes an angle of inclination, or rather makes an angle of 45 degrees with the x-axis. That is interesting. Guys, be careful. This is to trick you. Okay? This is to trick you. What you are expecting this line to have a negative gradient. Now, if you hurry and say, no, this is, what is this? This is a m equals tan 45 degrees, you will get a wrong answer because it will give you a positive slope. Okay? It will say, but let me proceed. Okay, so 6.1, I'm not going to give you a summary of these guys. Okay? I'm just going to proceed. So 6.1, they say, show that the equation of G is G of x equals -x plus 2. Easy, right? Gradient is m equals tan theta. That's what we know. This equation is given in your formula sheet. Okay? So m equals tan. Remember, guys, this is 45 degrees. In which quadrant? We can think of it as reduction formula in the second quadrant. So if we say 180 minus 45, we will get 135 degrees. And trust me, when you take your calculator, this is -1. All right? When you take your calculator, this is -1. Okay? So what we know, we can therefore say G of x equals mx plus c. Therefore, G of x is -x plus, we have the y-intercept. Here is it. It's 2. We are done. This is why it's 2 marks. Not a lot of work. Okay? Not a lot of work. Okay? Perfect. 6.2. 6.2. Another reason why I liked this question paper. 6.2. Write down the coordinates of S. Do you see where S is? S, to find S, you can say it is the x-intercept. Hear me out. You can say it is the x-intercept of G of x or of what? F of x. But we have no equation of f of x as yet. So we will use of G of x. And at point S, which is the x-intercept, y value is 0. So G of x equals 0. Therefore, this means -x plus 2 equals 0. Therefore, x equals 2. We can conclude and say this means S is 2. And what is the y value at S? It's 0. Happy? Perfect. Now, moving on. 6.3. 6.3, we have, they say, write down the equation of, show that the equation of f is this. It's okay. We already know what R is. We already know what S is. So we will find the equation of this guy using the intercepts. When we do that, we'll say f of x is equal to a into one of the x-intercepts here. Is it? They said it was -½ and 0. So because it's -½ it must be x plus half. And this other one, it's 2 and 0. So it will be x minus 2. Okay, perfect. So f of x equals a into, let's see, x squared minus, minus, what is this? Minus 2x plus half. So it's 2, okay, so it will be minus 3 over 2x minus 1. Okay, so if you guys are not sure as to how you got that, you're using the FOIL method, okay? You're using the FOIL method. So this is a into x squared minus 2x plus half x minus 1. So this guy here will be x squared minus 3 over 2x minus 1. Okay, FOIL method, okay? So proceeding, we'll then say, okay, we have a point that lies on the graph f of x, right? So what is that point? It's point T with coordinates 1 and negative 12. What does that mean? Where there's x, I put 1. Where there's y, I put negative 12. So this is negative 12 equals a into 1 square minus 3 over 2x minus 1, right? So what is this? Minus 12 equals, let me see, minus 12 equals, this will become, let me see, minus 3, because 1 square, it becomes minus 3 over 2a. Okay, you have calculators, guys, you can get this. 1 squared minus 3 over 2x minus, my mistake. I forgot that I substituted this. So where there's x, I should be putting 1. My mistake. Okay. So when you take your calculator, you are getting minus 3 over 2. So this becomes minus 3 over 2a. So when you divide negative 12 by 3 over 2, what do you get? You get 8. All right. Remember, I am saying when you say negative 12 divided by negative 3 over 2, you will get positive 8. Okay, therefore a equals 8. Now this means f of x is equal to 8 into x squared minus 3 over 2x minus 1. Okay, but you are not done. Okay, you are not done. So what do? We then say 8 times f of x is 8x squared. Let me go back to show you. 8 times negative 3 over 2 will be 4 times 3 will be minus 12. So it will be minus 12x. And then 8 times negative 1 will be negative 8. Isn't this what they said we must prove? Yes, it is. And that says we are on the right track. We already have 8 marks on this question. Okay, perfect. Now, 6.4, determine the coordinates of V, the turning point of F. If you like, you can complete a square of f of x, or you will do this. First, find axis of symmetry. X equals minus b over 2a. This is axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. Okay? It is that line that divides the graph into 2 equal halves. Okay? So what is the value of b? It's negative 12. Can you see it? Negative 12 over 2. What is the value of a? The value of a is 8. Okay? The value of a is 8. What do we get here? We get 12 over 16. 12 over 16 tells me it is 3 over 4. Right? So it is 3 over 4. So x value of v is 3 over 4. Now to get its corresponding y value, you will say f of 3 over 4. What is it? Where there's x, you put 3 over 4. Let's go. Okay? Remember guys, if you are using a mobile device, please rotate your screen to have better viewing. Now let's see what we get. I'm going to use my calculator here. 8 into 3 over 4 square minus 12 into 3 over 4, close, minus 8. Right? Okay, what do we get? I got negative 25 over 2. I got negative 25 over 2. Therefore, we can conclude that the coordinates of V are positive 3 over 4 and negative 25 over 2. Now, here's something that I want to tell you guys, okay? Here's something that I want to tell you. Sometimes your values may not be right, but convince yourself that, okay, look at this. On this side of the graph, I expect my x value to be positive. Did we get a positive one? Okay, that means we are heading somewhere. I'm expecting my y value to be negative because it's below the x-axis. Did I get a negative y value? Yes, you did. So this means you are on the right track. Okay? Somehow it makes sense. Okay? It makes sense. Don't just check numbers. Also check their signs. Okay? Perfect. So 6.4, we are sorted. So right now, what do we have? We have 11 marks, isn't it? We have 11 marks. So use the graph. Where is it? Use the graph to determine the value of k if f of x is equal to k has two distinct unequal roots. Did you hear that? It must have two distinct unequal roots. At this point here, I'm going to show you. See, you guys can see the cursor here. At this point here, okay? At this point here, meaning at y equals negative 25 over 2. Remember, this point has coordinates 3 over 4 and negative 25 over 2. The x value is 3 over 4. The y value is negative 25 over 2. So this k value, let me go to the next page. 6.5, f of x is equal to k. This k value is a y value. So they say, find a k value that will give you two unequal roots. Where do you get that? To be honest with you, this one here, remember k is a value of y. So here, at this point, or along this line, this is where k is equal to negative 25 over 2. If you go below it, all right, if you go below it, okay, if you go below it, you will not get a root. Your function does not exist there, all right? But if you go above it, you will have, as you can see, go above it, wherever you can think of. This touches your graph somewhere here and here. Let's say this point, it touches here and here. Look at the x-axis. Do you see? They are unequal. Do you see that? Wherever you go. So you must say this is where k is greater than negative 25 over 2. But of course, you can say this 25 over 2 is 12,5, right? So this is where k is greater than negative 12,5, whichever you like. Okay? Negative 12,5, whichever you like. Okay? Perfect. 6.6. So 6.6, it says, for which values of x is f prime x times g prime x less than 0. So you need derivatives. Remember, you said f of x is 8x squared minus 12x minus 8. What is its first derivative? Its first derivative is 16x minus 12. Okay. Then first derivative of g. What is g? You said g of x is negative x plus 2. What is its first derivative? Its first derivative or its derivative is negative 1. Now this thing here is asking you to find where the product of the derivatives will be, negative. Do you see this? Something times something is less than 0. This means they will be negative. Okay, so let me go to the next page because I can't draw on this. Let me just show you something. So let's say, okay, I'm not saying it is like that. So it is like this, right? Okay, so also, okay, and then this is v. You know this is true. and then this is also 2. This is minus half, right? Now, that first derivative, this is 1, and then this is, what was this one? I don't know what it is. So let's say, oh my this won't be that nice. So I need to make it a bit, yeah, it's better this way. Yeah, it's better this way. So this was 2, this one is 2, this one is negative half, and this one here was negative 25 over 2. This was 3 over 4, right? So the first derivative, okay, the first derivative of this g of x will be negative 1. I'm going to draw it using a different color. Will be negative 1. Let's say this is negative 1. So it'll be like this. This is your g of x, okay? This is your g prime x, okay? And then you're looking for first derivative of your what is this? F. It is 16x minus 12. So its x-intercept is basically this. So this is something that you learned in your calculus, okay? It's something like, oh, my mistake. It's something like this on the x-intercept, right? Let me do this on the x-intercept. Right? So your x-intercept of the first derivative is basically axis of symmetry. Okay? So it'll be like this. And what I saw is that this will be negative 12. I don't know where it is. I really don't know. But I could see that this is negative 8. So it'll be negative 12. It'll be somewhere here. Right? Because this one, according to this equation, it means this point here is, negative 8. Okay? According to this equation here, it means this point is negative 8. Okay? So this is negative 12.5. So it means negative 12 will be somewhere here, because this one here is negative 12.5. So that graph will move like this. What is this? This is f prime, right? This is f prime x, and this is g prime. Okay? This is g prime. Okay? This is g prime. All right? There's also a way that I think is simpler if you were to look at it, and I'm gonna show you. It's very, very simple. Okay? So I'm just showing you the graphical way of doing it. So when I look at it graphically, I'm sorry, it's one that you wouldn't prefer, but in some cases you have to go for it. So what is this? This will be, look at it. We're saying the product must be negative. Why is the product negative? Look at it. One must be positive and the other must be negative. Alright? One must be positive and the other must be negative. Where is that? One is positive. Look at this. For G prime, it's always negative, but F prime, it's not always negative. So you can say this is when x is greater than, your answer will simply be when x is greater than 3 over 4. Okay? This is when your x is greater than 3 over 4. Remember, we said when one is positive, the other must be negative. So look at it. Above x, or to the right of x, equals 3 over 4. F prime is positive, G prime is negative. This is what we are looking. Okay. Option 2, which is easy. Option 2, which is very easy. We said F prime x was it was 16, right? It was 16x minus 12. And then what was G prime x? G prime x was negative 1. Now what do we do? Remember, we are looking for f prime x times G prime x must be less than 0. What is f prime x? It's 16x minus 12. What is G prime x? It's minus 1. Alright? So what is this? Negative 16x minus 12 is less than 0. Alright? It's less than 0. Now what do we get? Negative 16x is less than positive 12. Right? It's less than positive 12. So because we divide by a negative, it'll change direction. It'll become 16 over 12. All right, it'll become 12 over 16, not 16 over 12. 12 over, and to be precise, negative, this is positive, my mistake. All right, it'll become positive 12 over 16. What is this? This is basically reduced or simplified to 3 over 4. Do you guys see this? It's basically reduced to 3 over 4. Okay, and this is exactly what we got. Can you see that? This is exactly what we got using graphing. Okay, but please attempt this if your calculus is that good. Okay, please attempt this if your calculus is that good. Otherwise, option 2 is the best for you. Okay, perfect. My favorite, 6.7. And this is one of the questions that made me choose this question. So it says, a new graph is obtained by first reflecting graph of f about the x-axis. So first, you reflect about y-axis, about y-axis. All right? This is the first thing. Secondly, or before that, secondly, and then shifting it in the upward direction so that the x-axis is the tangent. And then shifting up, and then shift up so that the x-axis is the tangent. So if they say so that the x-axis is the tangent, you know what that means? That means, remember, this point here was negative 12.5. So that means shift up 12.5 units. Okay? This means shifted 12.5 units up. Okay? So let me read it again. A new graph H is shifted by first reflecting the graph of f about the y-axis and then shifting it in the upward direction so that the x-axis is the tangent of the new graph H. Write down the coordinates of t prime, the image of t, which lies on the graph of H. It's okay, guys. Check this out. To answer this question, first, we say y-axis reflection. So y-axis reflection, y-axis reflection is like this. If a point is here and you're reflected along the y-axis, only x value changes. Okay, so what is this? This is basically, remember I said only x value changes. So this means t prime will be, for now, t prime will be, I'm leaving the y value as is, only the x value is changing. T prime will be negative 1 and negative 12. Remember, only the y value is changing if you reflect along the x-axis. Okay? For now. Hold on. Now, then you shifted 12.5 units up. Remember, you shifted it 12.5 units up. You shifted it 12.5 units up. Okay? So when you shifted 12.5 units up, what does this tell you? It means, hold on. What does this tell you? It tells you that you must say, t prime will be minus 1, negative 12 plus 12.5 units up. Therefore, this means t prime is negative 1 and 0.5. Okay, because negative 12 plus 12.5 will be 0.5. So t prime will be this. Okay, remember this one is shifting. I should have mentioned that. This part here. So the second part is shifting 12.5 units up. Okay, 12.5 units up. And this is what happens. Therefore, t prime becomes this. T prime is negative 1 and 0.5. Okay. Happy? All right, guys. So this is it. You say 0.5 or you say half, it doesn't matter. Okay. So this is obviously a half. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Happy? Perfect. All right. So this is how you attempt this question. And by the way, guys, I loved this question, to be honest. Okay. So this is why you have us, guys, so that these things, you get to understand them. Okay. So if you are wondering why did I say this, let me show you why I was saying this. So I want you to imagine this. What we were saying is basically to you is to say, Shebaman, your function moves one, let's say it, not let's say, it was reflected about the x-axis. So anything that you see here will have a negative, its x will be negative. So basically, you are saying, for starters, remember x changes the sign. So it'll be, what is this? Positive half, all right? It'll be positive half, and then it'll be -2. And yeah, it'll be -2, and that part here will be minus, it'll be -1. Okay, it'll be -1. I don't know what it is, so let me just do it like that. It'll be -1. Okay, here is it. It'll be -1 here. Okay, it'll be -1 here. Okay, so, but you are not done. Okay, but you are not done. The very same thing. And oh, by the way, I have to mention the -1 is here, not here. I have to mention as well that this one, what is it? It was -12. And then this one here is -25/2. So it is -12.5. Okay, it's -12.5. Right? So you have now reflected it about the y-axis. Now you have to reflect it 12.5 units up. So where will it be? Here is it. Let me change the color. Here is it. Right? Here is it. I think it was 3/4, so 75%. Okay. It was here. So here is it now. Do you see it? Here is it now. So this is your h of x. Okay? This is your h of x. But they were asking you, what is this point now? It is this point here. Do you see it? It is this point here. So that's the beauty of it. Okay? That's the beauty of it. Okay. This question, your inverses. I know some of you only come to inverses whenever you talk lecture. You're like, I want inverses. All right, let's see. So inverses, question 7, it says, let's see. The diagram shows the graphs of f of x is equal to log x base a and f inverse of x. Point A with coordinates -1 and 4 lies on the graph of the inverse of f. Okay, meaning it lies on the graph of to the -1. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. So they say write down the coordinates of a prime. Write down the coordinates of a prime. Guys, remember, a is basically a point on the inverse. All right, so you do not have to waste your time. You do not have to waste your time. This is an inverse. Obviously, this guy is an inverse to this guy. If you say this guy is an inverse, this guy is the original. If you say this guy is the original, this guy is the inverse. Now we are saying, consider this guy to be the original, this guy will be the inverse. Now when that is the case, remember, you reflect about the line y equals x, whereas x becomes y, whereas y becomes x. Without any waste of time, your answer is simply a prime is, what is it? A prime is, write down the coordinates of a, the image of a after a reflection in the y equals x. So this is 4 and -1, as simple as that. Okay, perfect. Remember, this is what I've been saying. I didn't even read the question in completion, but this is what they say. Okay. All right. 7.2. 7.2 says that show that the value of a is a quarter. Okay, show that the value of a is a quarter. So already you have a point. All right, already you have a point on, what is this, on F. You already found it, which is A prime. All right, which is A prime. Okay, you already found it. So basically you don't have to worry much. Okay, so what is this? We have f of x equals log a base, log x base a. Okay, so we have a point which is a prime, which lies on the function a. Okay, what is it? It is 4 and minus 1. So where there's x you put 4, where there's y you put minus 1. Okay, so minus 1 equals log 4 base a. Okay, and we know to be able to get this, what do we say? To be able to get this, what do we say? We say a to the minus 1 is equal to 4, isn't it? We say a to the minus 1 is equal to 4. All right? Now, this therefore tells us that what we can say is basically to say we know this is 1 over a is equal to 4, isn't it? Isn't it, guys? This is what we know, right? Therefore, we can convince ourselves and say a is equal to 1 over 4. Okay? Alternatively, you can also use your F inverse, because you can find your F inverse. But since they didn't ask you to find your F inverse, you don't even have to waste your time. Okay? All right. Let's get to 7.3. So 7.3 says determine the equation of F inverse in the form y equals. What we know so far, we know that f of x is equal to log x base 1 over 4. All right? So when we say y equals x, we will say x equals log y base 1 over 4. So what do? We say 1 over 4 to the power x is equal to y. We are done. This is it. There's nothing else that we need to do. We can leave it here. If you don't want to leave it like this, you can also say it is y equals 4 to the negative x. That's okay. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. You choose this one or this one, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, perfect. 7.4 says determine the length of AB. Determine the length of AB. That means you must find, what is this? You must find the coordinates of, what are the coordinates of B? Do you know them? The coordinates of B, guys, are easy. They will be 1 and 0, okay? Because it's the x-intercept, meaning it was rather the y-intercept here. The y-intercept here is 0 and 1. So this will be 1 and 0. If you do not know, you then say, what is f of x equals 0? My mistake, f of x equals 0. Right? What is it? F of x equals 0. You will say log 1 over 4, log x base 1 over 4 equals 0. So x equals 1 over 4 to the power 0. What is this? It's 1, right? Therefore, this means B is 1 and 0. Can you see that? So B is 1 and 0. You guys see that? Okay, cool. Now remember, you are looking for distance AB. Okay? You are looking for distance AB. Guys, do not hesitate. When they say length of AB, you use your distance formula. Okay? You use your distance formula. AB is equal to x2 minus x1 all square plus y2 minus y1. Whichever you call 2, I'm calling B the second point. So what is this? X value of B is 1. What is y value of A? Y value of A is minus 1. Right? Close square. Happy? Now, square again. Sorry, my mistake. Now, what is y value of B? It's 0. What is y value of A? It's 4. You guys have calculators. You don't have to try to simplify this. But if you're like me, you don't have a calculator, This is 1 minus minus 1 is 2. So this is 4 plus 16. So this is square root of 20. By the way, your answer is 2 root 5. Okay. But you have calculators, guys. So don't go this route. From here, go straight to your answers. Okay. From here, go straight to your answers. So this is 2 root 5 units. Okay. This is 2 root 5 units. You won't be penalized if you say 2 root 5 units, or you can also leave it in decimal places. It's okay. All right. You can also leave it in decimal places. It's okay. All right. Now, let's go to 7.5. 7.5 says, write down the values of x for which f of x is less than 1, less than negative 1. Okay? It's less than negative 1. Okay? So, guys, what this means is that y value is now less than negative 1. Okay? Y value is less than negative 1. Okay? So you should be asking yourself, remember, you're looking at, what is this? You're looking at f. Okay? You're looking at f. So let me write it. F of x is less than negative 1. You still remember what f of x was. So I'm going to ask you this. F of x, try this. F of x is equal to negative 1. Okay? Is equal to negative 1. Okay? So you need to know what is the value of x when y is negative 1. Do you know it? Do you? Okay, let's see. So we'll say this is, I remember it was log x base 1 over 4, right? You said a is 1 over 4 is equal to negative 1. But I can tell you that that value you know when you found a prime. What did you say a prime was? What did you say a prime was? Let's go back. You said a prime was 4 and negative 1. You remember? So basically, you know this answer. And I can assure you now that, negative 1. Let's say negative 1 is here. This x value is, what is it? It's 4. Can you see that? This x value is 4. Do you guys see that? This x value is 4. Now, since we're saying this x value is 4, alright? Since we're saying this x value is 4, the question, however, is asking where is y value less than minus 1. As obviously you can see that this function, it goes down there, right? So as it goes down there, it means it must be greater than 4, okay? It must be greater than 4. So what I want to do here is, in case you do not know the point, you will do what I'm doing right now, okay? So you will say this is x equals 1 over 4 to the minus 1. On your calculator, agree with me that it will return positive 4. Right? Now pay attention, guys. I said x is equal to 4 is here, but this question says y must be less than minus 1. To say that, it means you must go down. Okay? Now as you go down, look at this function. As y goes down, x goes to the right. So therefore, we can say this is when x is greater than 4. Okay? This is when x is greater than 4. Okay? Happy? Perfect. So this is it, guys. If you do not see this point directly, try to do this method first and then conclude looking at your graph. But for this particular question, we are fortunate we knew what this point is. It was 4. Okay? Perfect. So this is it, guys. This is you mastering your exam. Okay? This is you mastering your exam. So I hope you enjoy this. But remember, guys, do not spend so much time on this. 1 mark, 1 minute. Okay? 1 mark, 1 minute. All right. All right. All right. So this is it, guys. See you next time. And, before I go, do not forget to get in touch with us. And if this video helped you, please subscribe, share, and yeah, have fun with the rest of the videos that we're going to upload. So